Oh, goody.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Zombies here again, and today we're back with another video. So, something kind of interesting popped up on the Hearthstone website. And this is over on the main website. If you just go to their cards tab, card library, and then I filtered some things here. So we're looking at the Myrtle at Castle Nathria set. We're looking at neutral cards. And I sorted to 6 mana value. And you might notice that there is a card here that does not actually cost 6 mana in the game. And that is Theotar. So, yeah, Theo got nerfed a while back from 4 to 5. And they said, you know, if he still is seeing a lot of play, we will consider future change. Now, in terms of actual power level, the nerf actually hit Theotar pretty hard. And I'm not a standard expert, and I'm not going to dive into all the information surrounding that. But if you want, you can seek it out yourself, and it's pretty conclusive that the hit from 4 to 5 mana made Theotar a significantly worse card. However, unlike a lot of nerfed cards, this card was still seeing a lot of play. So I think it's important to ask, well, why is the card still seeing a lot of play if it's not doing particularly great in terms of improving your win rate? And that answer, I think, is fairly obvious. It's a very unique effect, and it's an effect that a lot of players enjoy, even though it is incredibly polarizing. Much like the quest lines of the past, this is very much a love it or hate it mechanic. I can't think of many people that are neutral towards this card. You generally fall into the I really like this mechanic and I think it's interesting and fun, or I really hate that this is something that my opponent can do and I wish it didn't exist. There's very little nuance between those two positions, it seems. And the thing here, so it looks like this is almost certainly a leak. They didn't mean to upload this, but and, you know, if it just said 6 mana and it was a 3/3, I could probably write this off as being maybe some weird bug or something weird going on here, but the stats changed too. They made it from a 3/3 into a 4/4. And I think the likelihood of both of those things happening as some weird bug or unintended consequence of something with the website is very unlikely. So this is probably a change we're going to see make its way to the game. I don't really know when, maybe when they release the new expansion, maybe before then, we really don't know. Probably not super duper soon because we just got a big patch, but at the earliest, maybe 2 weeks from now, and at the latest, probably the new patch expansion. But I want to talk about why I think this is a really fucking stupid decision, and why I think it doesn't solve the problem that they're trying to solve with changing this card, and how it's really not going to do anything to make anybody happy. The Theotar haters are not going to be satisfied, and the Theotar lovers are going to be mad. And so why is that? And I talked about this the last time this card came up with a nerf. And the reason is, people are still going to play this card. It doesn't matter. This card could have a 40% win rate. People will still play this card. And the reason for that is because people like the effect enough where they are willing to overlook that the card is significantly worse. That was the case at 5 mana, and I'm willing to bet it is going to be the exact same case at 6 mana. Also, fun fact, if you actually go to 5 mana here, Theotar still shows up, but he just has the 6 on his card. So that's also kind of funny. Here you can see even if we get rid of... Oh no, he's actually totally gone, so you actually have to... It's only under 6, yeah. This is definitely something that's coming to... I don't think that they have been doing a great job with the balance decisions ever since... I think they changed hands on the main balancing person a few months ago, and I think things have been significantly worse since then. And this is just another example of the decline in balancing, because the reason they're balancing this card is not because it is a power outlier, but because it is a card that makes people feel bad. No, that's not an inherently bad reason to change a card. Feelings can be relevant even if a card's power level doesn't necessarily always justify those feelings. The problem is, changing this card by just bumping it up another mana and bumping it up with some stats, it doesn't change what people hate or love about the card. And that's a big reason why people are still playing it at 5 mana, even though it's not particularly good, at least in the standard format. Because they still really like playing with the card. I'd be willing to bet if we could see some statistics on, the normal play rate of nerfed cards, and typically when a card gets nerfed, a lot of people disenchant it, and they don't play with it, even if that nerfed card is still good. And I think Theotar is kind of outdoing those normal expectations because it is a unique effect you cannot get anywhere else in the game. There's nothing else in the game that really does something quite like this. The closest thing we have is Mutanus, and even that is not exactly the same kind of thing. So even though they're making the card a lot worse, they're not actually, all that's doing is it might slightly bring down the play rate, which, yes, you will see the card less, so those moments where it makes you mad will happen slightly less. But when it happens, are you going to be less mad that the opponent paid 6 mana for it instead of 5? I don't really think so. I think that people are still going to lose their damn mind when they get screwed by this card. And I think the people that enjoy it are going to continue playing it, even if the win rate stats say it is not a good card. And that just makes me feel like this is a really fucking stupid change, because they're like trying to admit that they think they made a bit of a mistake with it, but they're not actually doing anything to rectify that mistake. And I say this as someone who likes the card. You kind of have to draw a hard line here. The issue people have with is not the cost, it's the effect. And they are basically saying, we're not willing to change the effect, but maybe we want it to be, a bit less prevalent, so we're going to make the card worse, and then we're going to make the card worse again. But that's not actually going to change how people feel when the card gets played against them. And because of how unique the effect is and how much the people who like it do like it, the card's still going to be played a bunch. And so the people who hate it are still going to be mad about it, and the people who like it are still going to play it, even though it's probably bad. And so why are we nerfing it? It's really not going to fix the issue that either side has. You're just managing to piss off both groups of people. And I think it's because they're just unwilling to change the effect. And if they really believe the effect is enough of a mistake where you have to nerf this card all the way from 4 to 6 mana, it might be worth considering, hey, maybe this is a mistake. Maybe we need to change the card. Even though that's not something I want them to do, that's probably something you should consider if people are having these like crazy adverse reactions to it, because this isn't going to fix the problem. And another thing is, Theotar is not the only problem. A very common complaint with Theotar is the fact that he's stealing my Denathrius, he's stealing my win condition. That's what people kind of hate, right? But you know what's going to happen? Even let's say in this perfect world where their plan works out and Theotar doesn't see very much play anymore, do you know what's going to happen with the people who complained about, oh, he stole my Denathrius? They're going to complain about the fact that, the opponent had Denathrius before I did. The complaints are going to shift to these one card win conditions, which are a problem in their own right. Theo is not the thing causing that. He's just an element of that's kind of making it more apparent, but the complaints are going to switch if this happens, if he does not see very much play, if it's a more significant drop-off than we saw from the 4 to 5 change. People are just going to complain about the next thing, which is, my one card win condition came down later than my opponent's, or the opponent got it first, so I lose. Oh well. That's just what's going to happen. I'm calling it right now. So this feels like a nothing burger of a change. It feels like it's not going to satisfy either group, and it also kind of just shows a pattern that I've seen a lot recently that I really dislike. And there's a new expansion coming out. They want the new expansion cards to make an impact. They don't want to have to power creep things more than they already are, so they power creep them for launch, Then, as the new expansion's rolling around, well, it's time to nerf some stuff into the ground because we can't have it steal the spotlight of our new fancy expansion with our shiny new pre-order bundles. And I'm honestly fucking sick of it. I really don't like this repetitive cycle for the game, and it's really, I just don't have any interest right now in the new constructed stuff, which is a shame because I think the new class looks cool. But if this is the cycle they're just going to keep repeating without actually making meaningful changes, I don't see this being the card game for me, which is sad because I've quite enjoyed Hearthstone for a very long time. It's had its ups and downs, but the current direction just seems to be a mess to me, especially with the balancing, and it's not something I really feel much desire to support if this is going to be the way things keep going. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm sure, I mean, it's a hot topic issue. People love Theo, people hate Theo, but ultimately, I don't think it matters which side of that coin you fall on. You can still see the bigger problems here. Whether you like him or whether you hate him, this change doesn't solve the problem.